Don't depend on 401k or Social Security for your retirement. Big change is coming. In the past, Social Security was considered to be one of the most secure and reliable ways to plan for a healthy retirement income. It has been around for quite some time and has a great reputation as an effective way to help protect Americans against poverty in their older years. In fact, Social Security is a great program that many people rely on heavily. However, it is becoming apparent that it is no longer the reliable and secure program that Americans can depend on for their well-being. The recent changes to Social Security benefits have led many people to question whether or not the program is sustainable for them in the future. With retirement quickly approaching, you need to prepare. Current American retirement plans are designed to get you by, but they are not intended to be depended on to provide you with anything close to the lifestyle you may want. Who can say how long Social Security will exist in its current state? What about my 401k, you might ask? A lot of changes are coming down the pipeline, and it's time for you to take control of your financial future. Hi, and welcome back to another video of Finance Sense, where we cover all the latest trends in the financial markets and the economy. Before we begin, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and click on the notification bell to stay updated with our videos. Now, let's get to the video proper. There are two factors impacting retirement planning. One, Congress is seeking to modify the 401k regulations and rules, and two, there will soon be a modification to Social Security that will come with a big price tag that you will have to pay. Financial advisors once illustrated retirement as a three-legged stool where you would get three things: a pension from your company, a Social Security check from the government, and lastly, your self-investments. To start, pensions are now an outdated concept. You shouldn't expect to receive a pension if you are under 45 years old. Second, even though Social Security checks are increasing more and more, the program is quickly running out of funds. Third, you have self-investments like the 401k, even though they weren't originally meant to be someone's only means of retirement planning. Meanwhile, the government places a Social Security charge on the money you make from your job to fund Social Security. Every dollar you make in 2022 that is less than $147,000 is taxed through Social Security, and the amount you get will be subject to a 6.2% Social Security tax. But there will also be an extra 6.2% tax that your boss must pay. And if you work for yourself, you're responsible for paying the 6.2% tax twice. So you'll be effectively paying Social Security taxes at around 12.4% of your salary. The government will then take this money, place it in a pool, and attempt to invest and increase it. The government will then be able to distribute this money when you reach retirement age, allowing you to have a nice retirement. However, the issue is the government underestimated two things. First, how long people would live, and second, how much living expenses would increase. In 2021, the government lost around $56 billion on the Social Security Fund because it gave out $56 billion more than it received, partly because it was compelled to raise Social Security payments by 5.9% because of inflation. And because of the high inflation, the government will be increasing Social Security payouts by an additional 8.7% next year, so we can anticipate an even greater deficit. From an investing and financial standpoint, you can see where the problem is since individuals have been paying into the Social Security system for many years. The Social Security Fund, however, is now giving out more than it is collecting, which implies that the government is further depleting the Social Security Fund. They will run out of money if things continue in this way. So, neither your retirement nor the retirement of anybody else will be financed by the Social Security payments you are paying today. The question of whether the government can simply find the money or print it arises at this point. The government may simply raise your Social Security taxes if nothing changes on the income side of the Social Security Fund. Furthermore, the government will continue to deduct money from your income if company taxes are raised. In addition, your boss could simply increase your pay by 6.2% if they weren't required to pay the 6.2% in Social Security taxes. Therefore, it makes no difference where they raise taxes. Unless anything changes, it will continue to have an impact on your income. The government will ultimately run out of money and will have to print more. Additionally, inflation will increase if more money is printed to pay for larger Social Security benefits. However, you will receive a larger Social Security payment if the government prints more money to issue larger checks. But everything is more expensive than it already is. So inflation can never be outprinted but only increased. When you initially receive the check, you might feel wealthy, but if you visit the store and discover that your check won't buy you as much as you had anticipated, you will actually feel less wealthy despite having a larger Social Security check. The government increased Social Security payments by a relatively big amount this year, but it wasn't enough to keep up with inflation. This means that everyone receiving a Social Security check in 2022 received a considerably larger one this year than the previous year. But due to the Social Security check not covering as much of their expenses, they are nonetheless poorer compared to the previous year. For this reason, even if you contribute the Social Security fund every time you are paid, you should not rely only on your Social Security benefits. When it comes to ensuring that you have a healthy retirement, you should invest your own money because when you do this, you do not depend on the government or another party to take care of you. Historically, Social Security was a highly reliable and secure way to plan for a strong retirement income. But now, it has become the exact opposite. Moreover, everyone agrees that pensions are insufficient and that they are dying. Additionally, the Social Security program is now following the same path as pensions. Congress is currently examining the three-legged stool by requiring individuals to contribute through the 401k in order to help people rely on themselves and retire. Although the 401k is a wonderful place to begin when it comes to retirement planning, it shouldn't be your only option. Financial literacy is the first step toward a genuine retirement strategy. In this manner, you can create substantial wealth for yourself and stop depending on anything or anybody else to take care of you. Your 401k gets you halfway there, but self-investments are the primary source of wealth for the truly affluent. Congress placed a greater emphasis on the 401k. The problem is that Congress proposed giving access to 401k plans to 70% of those employed in the private sector. However, just 40% of individuals with lower incomes have access to something like a 401k, and only half of those users really use it. However, several amendments are being proposed to change the 401k. The House bill known as the Secure 2.0 Act serves 5 things. First, it mandates that all businesses automatically contribute 3% of each qualified employee's income to the 401k plan. Second, it raises the catch-up contribution limit for 401k and 403b plans for employees between the ages of 62 and 64 to $10,000 annually. Third, it enables employers to provide a matching contribution and treat student loan repayment as an elective retirement account deferral. In other words, if your employer matches 1% of your 401k contribution, and you choose to pay off your student loans with the money instead of contributing to your 401k, your employer should still make the 1% match and contribute the money to your 401k on your behalf. Fourth, it raises the 401k minimum withdrawal age from 72 to 75. Last but not least, it requires that companies allow part-time workers to put in at least 500 hours over the course of 2 years to enroll in a 401k. You should become more concerned about your financial education as more individuals realize that Social Security will not be sufficient for them to retire on. You can then start investing your money and making better decisions for yourself. Hi, it looks like you've reached the end of this video. Thank you for watching this far. Please subscribe and give it a like if you enjoyed it, and comment your thoughts below. This is Finance Sense, helping you keep up with all the latest trends in the financial markets and the economy. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.